All right, moving on to public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items not on the agenda. This comment period is limited to 30 minutes total at the beginning of the meeting, and then we'll make up for it at the end if there's carryover. Those folks have signed up ahead. We'll get to you, and we do have a special treat with us. Members of our Parker Youth Commission are here. So Bella and Izzy, if you all want to come down. We haven't had y'all do this yet, but if you'll introduce yourself, I won't make you give out your addresses. But and then if you see up here, we'll do 3 minutes. And if you run over a little bit, because there's 2 of you, we'll be generous on the time. All right. Ladies, go ahead if you'll introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Izzy from the Parker Youth Commission.
And what is your role on the Parker Youth Commission?
I am the Philanthropic Initiatives Manager.
Great.
Hi, I'm Bella, and I'm the chair or the vice chair of the Youth Commission.
Excellent. All right. Go ahead.
So as a commission, we decided to put together a resource page where teens in the community can go to search for volunteer opportunities, scholarships, and summer programs. Searching for and finding these opportunities can be overwhelming for teens who don't know where to begin. Our resources page is a great place to start. We plan to continue growing our number of resources and expanding into different topics such as mental and physical health, extracurricular activities, and local Parker news. We believe it's important for youth to be proactive about their interests and future plans. We hope to support youth and shed light on some of the many options they have within the Parker community.
This past year, we've had many goals for the Youth Commission, one being to expand access to resources for youth and help them become more involved in Parker. Our creation of a resource page for the Commission's website is a great start to this and will help move toward our goal. The process of creating the resource page required lots of brainstorming, research, and verification. We first brainstormed broad topics that we, as teens in Parker, believed would be beneficial and that other teens would appreciate being included on the website. We then gathered our sources and needed to verify these with the town of Parker so we knew it was okay to include them. And this made sure that everything was good to go, and from there our website was up and running. This resource page helps guide the youth in Parker to explore opportunities for local volunteering, find scholarships, not just for college, and discover summer programs they may be interested in. The page can help teens access multiple resources at once rather than searching for everything separately, which can be stressful and overwhelming. We plan to continue adding to it in the future, and from attending the Douglas County Youth Summit, we learned many topics that teens are interested in, and we plan to add these to the page. For the next year of the Commission, we would love to explore our goals since we all believe that it's important for our youth to be motivated toward their future and as well as their current interests. This resource page will move teens to become more involved in Parker and make known the many opportunities that the community has. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Parker Youth Commission, you can find our website and our resource page linked in our bio. And it would be great if you could share it with your kids or your friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Okay, but before you go, I've got a question though. So my wife just got on Instagram. So what do you call that? What's the short term for it?
Insta?
Yeah.
She's right. Dang it. Okay. All right. She's way cooler than I am. Thank you guys very much. And thank you for all you're doing for the town of Parker. You know, the Parker Youth Commission was started a year and a half ago, and you all have taken off like a rocket. So we appreciate you very much. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate all your support.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Karen Swanson. It's going to talk to us while I get the time set. So Karen, if you will introduce yourself and your organization's address just for the record.
Okay. My name is Karen Swanson. I am a Parker resident for the past 35 years, and I'm with Nourish Meals on Wheels.
Great.
Nourish Meals on Wheels is located on Arapahoe and Broadway, and we started serving the Parker community back in February. Right now, we're delivering meals on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we're really hoping to expand that, where we start to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's truly a need in the Parker area, as Colorado overall is an aging state, and we really need to have volunteers that live in the community to deliver within the community. And I'd like to invite all of the council members and the mayor, of course, to come and see our kitchen. and what we do, and possibly to volunteer and perhaps do a drive along with me. I do Route 39. Today I had 19 stops to make. My first stop was in the Meridian community. My last stop, it was the first time that I had been all the way over there, was off of Inspiration and Black Forest Drive. And the last 3 stops, I think that the women that I delivered the meals to were probably in their high 80s. And it looked like they were living alone. So not only is it an opportunity to bring them food so that they get nourishing meal, it's an opportunity for them to have their loneliness alleviated. Someone who comes and knocks at the door and asks them, "How are you doing today? Is there anything else that you need help with?" So we really would like the support of the town of Parker and the council in getting the word out, and perhaps coming over and doing a ride-along.
Excellent.
And if anyone here is interested in volunteering, I've got a flyer that I can leave with you.
Excellent. And if you'll leave a flyer, does that have your contact information on there, Karen?
I will leave my
well?
business card.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'd be glad to go, but I'm a talker, so we may have a whole day's worth of time.
But
so-
you know what? You need to stop and talk, and I have a client that I play cards with, that's in Clark Farms.
Okay.
And to stop and talk to them is one of the things that really makes their
I
day.
love it. I
So
love
it's
it.
not just the good food.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if you'll leave that with our town attorney, the first right here, Jamie Nguyen, and
Perfect.
then we'll contact you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Karen. All right, so I'm going to go down as they signed up in order. So next I have Robin O'Meara. Sorry if I mispronounced that at all. And Robin, if you will, state your name and address for the record, and then we will give you your 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. My name's Robin O'Meara. I live at 13785 East Marina Drive in Aurora,
Right.
and that is Heather Gardens, a 55-plus community.
And you can move the microphone down for you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm vertically challenged.
Us short people have to stay together.
It's also my birthday.
Oh, happy
I
birthday.
just thought I'd say that. Okay. My name's Robin O'Meara. I live in Arapahoe County and have been a resident of Colorado for 31 years. I'm a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Tonight, I come to you as a concerned citizen, sharing alarming information about our state's voter database, uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to comprehend, one thing is clear: they don't add up. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If you had $10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. And if a company had that significant a discrepancy in its books, the company would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by state election officials, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying one candidate won over another or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes, as counted, were not all valid and accurate under the law. Tonight, we will present with you a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with the summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you to go over this information, including more detail about the specific findings. If you have questions that I cannot answer tonight, I will commit to getting you the answer in writing from the United Sovereign Americans executive team as soon as possible. This data and our requests for investigation have been shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It's essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be taken seriously. Tonight, we come to you, our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We're asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents and your country. Our next three speakers will read the resolution in 3 parts, and our final speaker will conclude our presentation. We thank you for your kind attention.
Great. Thank you very much, ma'am. And Ms. O'Meara, just for logistics, are they signed up in order? Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You all are on it. All right. So next is Karen Talentine? Talentive?
Karen Tallentire.
There we go.
I'm at Bellevue and Santa Fe and Littleton.
All right.
So, resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas, it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections. From Reynolds and Sims, 1964, quote, and the right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise. Whereas, it is the duty of our election officials to guarantee our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. From Henri Coy, 1888, quotes, Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience to the law. Whereas, our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following 4 tenets of an election are upheld. Number 1, the voter rolls must be accurate, according to the National Voter Registration Act 1993. Number 2, voters counted must be from eligible voters, U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. Number 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. Number 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. That's from the Help America Vote Act 2002. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is Scott Russell.
Good evening. I'm a retired firefighter from South Metro as well. My name is Scott Russell. I live at 9362 Logia Street, and I'm going to continue where she left off.
Excellent. And thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mayor. Whereas an open source audit of the Colorado 2022 general election conducted by Colorado state citizens has uncovered the evidence of massive inaccuracies that violate both federal and state laws, including 1,468,211 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Colorado State voter roll database. 100,938 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrants. There was 34,912 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election, and no one knows who cast those votes. 100,917 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for federal election. The maximum allowable system errors for the 2022 general election is 21. Certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Whereas, these findings trample the legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during the federal election. Accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report the specific findings and selections and the absence of selections made by voter without error. Whereas, the intent of the voters must be known factually before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law as an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizen, a fraud ab initio, in the United States versus Throckmorton in 1878, is quoted, "From time immemorial, an election to the public office has been, in point of substance, no more or no less than the expression by qualified electors of their choice of candidates in the United States v. Classic in 1941. And whereas Colorado's 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our national rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us and the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of these United States. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable practices of the law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up is Kevin Monahan.
Kevin Monahan.
Yes, sir.
I'm a resident here in Douglas County over in Highlands Ranch.
Great.
Father of 4, and 2 of those are adopted through the county, and 8 grandchildren. So I'm interested in the future.
You are a busy man. Busy man.
Well, my wife was busier than I was.
They're always the ones that hold us together.
Yeah.
All right, sir, I'll give you your 3 minutes.
Okay. Proof of citizenship, identity, and eligibility to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. Voter rolls certified accurate and available for public review and challenge 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added that after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. Hand-marked secure ballots similar to currency, where imaging technology is used for tabulation. The security features must be verifiable in the ballot image. Systems, machines, security measures, infrastructure, and conduct are required to be compliant with federal law for fraud prevention regarding risk assessment, certification, testing, and implementation. Adjudication must be signed off by party, candidate, and trained citizen after being given full and effective observation rights. Candidates and trained citizens must be allowed immediate access to ballots, ballot images, and CVRs. Ballots, regardless of entry source, election operations, and systems, must maintain end-to-end chain of custody, from voter to vote count to final canvass, including audibility and witness transfer with paper records. A NIST compliant randomized, statistically valid end-to-end audit with a 95% confidence level of all elections pursuant to the 14th Amendment. Section 2 must be performed. These audits are to be conducted by qualified, insured, bonded security forces, forensics, or financial auditors, not personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, real physical ballots, adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, qualified voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic systems, including logs. If the total of all unique variances above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected, unless the issues can be provably corrected by a manual hand account, recount, and full review of records. Waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance from registration through certification can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. What we are asking the Parker Town Council stands in support with these concerns and the remedies presented here. We implore the Board of Commissioners, Colorado legislator, federal legislators, law enforcement, federal and state prosecutors, judges, and both Colorado state and county boards of elections to cooperate and fulfill these firm requests to the people. I rest my case.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up is Jamie West.
Hi, my name is Jamie West. I live at 15803 East Crestwood Circle in Centennial. I've been a resident of Colorado for 35 years. I am also a volunteer and not an official spokesperson with United Sovereign Americans. You have just heard a powerfully written resolution outlining massive inaccuracies in our 2022 election. from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies that will proactively protect the validity of the 2024 general election for all Americans. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such actions. Laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing, and we need certainty. The voting system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right to choose our representatives, is not producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, a system which is part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? How much is it costing our GDP, our military, our foreign policy, our health, the self-esteem of our children and young people? And how much is it costing our dignity to keep fighting each other? The cost is immeasurable. So I urge you to show your agreement by passing the resolution. Our website showcasing our initiatives nationwide has some extremely informative videos that explain the anomalies and apparent violations in law that are found here in Colorado as well in other states. The website is uniteforfreedom.com. That's unite, the number 4, freedom.com. I encourage you to check it out and learn more about our organization. One more time, that's unite, the number 4, freedom.com. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you. And last up is Susan Baker.
Hi, my name is Susan Baker. I live at 4910 South Bahama Court, and I was a resident of Parker for 5 years, a few years ago. I worked and lived here in Parker. And I've lived in Colorado now for 50 plus years. I won't go into the details. It's a long time. I, too, am also a volunteer and not an official spokesperson with United Sovereign Americans. What you heard tonight is the culmination of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified and credentialed volunteered data teams from Colorado and across the country. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Large numbers of Americans, including those right here in Parker and in Colorado, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think we can all agree that we wish this was not so, but official data shows these concerns are valid, and the law says resolving them is essential in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels are not being transparent or responsive in what our citizen audits have found. Our right to choose our representatives in legally valid and transparent elections is the foundation upon which our constitutional republic was established. That right has been bravely protected over the last 2.5 centuries by the sacrifices of our brothers, fathers, mothers, and sisters. You on this board tonight have a chance to show everyone who defended American liberty and the country, the citizens you represent, that you value it also by passing this resolution demanding a valid general election in 2024. If anyone would like, I do have a flyer that talks about our organization. It has our website on it. And we do ask, I don't know if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer any of them. We do have the resolution, I hope it's been passed out to you, and we do ask for you to sign it. If you'd like time to read it, we understand. It's a long resolution, but we ask that you put us on the agenda for the next time, and we'd be happy to come back and answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, anyone else wishing to make public comment? All right, seeing none. And just for clarification, we never take official action on public comment, but we have it up here. We will poll the council to see if there's an interest on getting in a study session. We'll invite a group of you back if there's a study session on it to discuss and ask more questions about it. So, but thank you for your time. Thank you to the Youth Commission. Thank you to Nourish Meals tonight too as well. So great public comment. All right, with that, we're going to move on to reports, items, and comments from the mayor and council. So I'm going to start to my right, Councilmember Barrington. I will start to my left. Councilmember Dyak, and you only have her to blame if you're not ready. So
Yeah, no, I mean,
All
we had last week off, so to me, the one of significance, I think all were in attendance, was the Memorial Day ceremony at J.S. Parker Cemetery. Again, great job, 15 years, if I recall correctly, that the Trevinos have been doing this, and always something to look forward to. We get the flyover. It seems like fewer and fewer communities get that flyover, and when you see that coming, everybody pauses, and it's just a goosebump moment, because just you think about all those who have served, all those who are in that cemetery, and again, just a special day. So after that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
great. Councilmember Wilkes.
Yeah, so my oldest daughter graduated high school, so I was a little busy with that for the last few weeks, but I did attend a ribbon cutting at Franny's Equine Haven. It's a horse therapy specifically designed for our first responders, and it's just here right outside of Parker. A lot of our first responders deal with trauma, and she is a previous first responder herself, and so she has taken upon herself to create this therapy session using these horses, which are really cute. She has 2 miniature ponies and then a full-grown horse, so that was wonderful. And then update from the youth initiative. There's a lot here, but I really just want to touch on the fact that our Parker, teen court, thank you. Our Parker Teen Court has impressed so many people that other municipalities who do not have it have now started to establish it, as well as our youth council that we have. So I give kudos to our staff members that have pulled those off, because now we have Castle Rock and Lone Tree who have started their own programs and are kind of mirroring what we have. So that's a wonderful update on there. And then in March, they were contacted by the governor's office for funding available for youth programs, and that is including with Secor, and they got a $50,000 food grant for their pantry, and the youth initiative helps volunteer there and helps distribute the food. So it's just overall wonderful.
Councilmember Hefta.
Councilmember Wilkes brings up a great point. There was many celebrations this past May for high school graduates. I got to attend one myself, one of my neighbors. So congratulations to all the high school graduates in 2024 in the town of Parker. I do want to commend the Youth Commission on the resources page. This is a fantastic tool for all the parents in the town as well that are always seeking information on scholarships and jobs and things for their teens to do in the community, their children to do. So that is a wonderful, wonderful addition to our Town of Parker webpage to have that resources page for the Parker Youth Commission. Also, I want to touch on the Nourish Meals on Wheels. Many of us have elder parents, and I myself was in Arizona attending to my parent who's in her 80s, and that is a wonderful program that you have. The Nourish Meals on Wheels, how you reach seniors. And again, as people get older, they do have a tendency to stay in their house, especially if they've suffered some medical conditions in their 80s, and they do rely on these types of programs. So thank you for coming, ma'am, and giving us information on that. Steve Trevino and his wife and his folks asked me to be a speaker at the Memorial Day celebration, so I did put my uniform on, and I did read off some of the names of our departed soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. So it was a wonderful day, and I also got to see all of my fellow town council members, and the mayor also got a chance to speak at that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Barrington.
So one of the fallen soldiers honored at the ceremony was David Sonka, who the town of Parker we named our dog park after him. And so we also had a pop-up community outreach on Wednesday, and it was at the dog park and the disc golf course. And so Councilmember Rivero, and I attended that. And also had several grad parties myself. So congratulations to all those grads. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There'll be no separate discussion of the consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. Council, I understand there is a motion to move an item from the consent agenda.
Yeah. Mayor, I would like to propose a motion to approve the consent agenda items for A through I, with the exception of I-1. I would like to pull I-1 for further discussion or clarification.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Brandy? Okay. So the motion was made by, let me just restate that just for a second. The motion was made by Councilmember Dyak, seconded by Member Wilkes, that we approve items A through I with the exception of I-1. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta? And that passes 4-0. Mayor Pro Tem Dyak, item I-1?
Yes. Looking at the agenda item packet, I-1 does not have an amount. It's NA. We typically use this in a long-range fashion for placeholders. Talking to staff, I was informed that we did not get the agreement executed, but there is a request to continue this to a date certain of June 17th. So I would like to make a motion to continue agenda item I-1 to a date certain of June 17th.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyak and seconded by
Wilkes.
Wilkes to move. We don't move the consent agenda item enough. I'm not practicing this, but to move the consent agenda item I-1 to a date certain of June 7th. Councilmember Barrington?
17th.
17th.
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. Now, what I'm good at, public hearings. All right. We will go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:33 p.m. This is on the Newland Crossing Filing 3 that was continued from May 6, 2024. And we do have Alex, but we have Julia with us too.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you for having us this evening. Before you is the Newland Crossing Filing 3 final plat. The subject property is part of the Newland Crossing Plan development that is approved for future mixed-use development and located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Main Street and Chambers Road. The applicant, Lennar Colorado LLC, submitted a final plat to create 85 residential lots, along with 16 tracts with required parks, open space, and trails. The final plat requires a public hearing due to the vacation of a public right-of-way tract that was previously dedicated to the town. Ordinance number 1.608 proposes to deed Tract E from Newland Crossing Filing Number 1 to Lennar, Colorado, in accordance with the annexation agreement for the Newland Crossing subdivision. The Town Council had previously approved the plan development zoning and a sketch and preliminary plan for the Newland Crossing PD. The final plat has a total acreage of 43 acres and creates 85 residential lots and 16 tracts. The proposed lots will be developed with detached single-family homes. Minimum lot sizes are consistent with the requirements of the PD. The 16 tracts are comprised of 4 tracts for future commercial development, as well as tracts dedicated to open space, parks, and regional trail improvements. Newland Crossing Filing 3 is providing 2.573 acres of parks and 6.957 acres of open space, consistent with the requirements of the annexation agreement and the land development ordinance, as well as the sketch and preliminary plans. The Newland Gulch Trail and Stonegate Trail connection are being constructed with this filing as well. The prior approved plat for Newland Crossing Filing Number 1 created and dedicated land known as Tract L to the town for right-of-way. This plat was done for the purposes of dividing the residential areas from the commercial areas, and the Tract L right-of-way was based off of a conceptual roadway design. The applicant has now performed final design work for the associated roadway and is determined that the right-of-way must be realigned. As a result of this design change, the applicant has requested that the town vacate the original right-of-way and will then again rededicate land to the town for the revised proposed right-of-way. Final plat applications are typically processed administratively. However, the municipal code requires applications involving vacations of right-of-way to be decided by town council. Ordinance 1.608, along the west frontage of the property, which abuts Chambers Road, there are several parcels owned by the town that currently accommodate stormwater pond that serves Chambers Road. The ultimate development plan for Newland Crossing includes the construction of a sub-regional stormwater detention facility that would provide water quality and detention for the west half of the development, along with the areas of Chambers Road served by the existing stormwater pond. When this new pond is constructed, the stormwater from Chambers Road will be routed to the new facility, and the existing pond will no longer be needed. The annexation agreement for Newland Crossing sets forth that once the developer of the property has designed the new pond, the parcels that currently house the existing pond can be deeded to the developer and incorporated into the development. Lennar has met the conditions set forth for the deeding of one of the parcels housing the existing pond, which is Tract E of Newland Crossing Filing Number 1. This ordinance proposes to deed the parcel to Lennar, Colorado. The plat for Newland Crossing Filing Number 3 successfully incorporates this tract into the overall development, and it's highlighted in yellow on your screen. The town requires applicants to enter into subdivision improvement agreements where a development application includes public improvements. These types of public improvements required for the Newland Crossing PD and that are addressed through the SIA include, but are not limited to, the construction of the Newland Gulch Trail, the Stonegate Trail connection, reimbursement for the construction of chamber roads adjacent to the property, landscaping, public roads, the traffic signal at Chambers Road and West Parker Road, and streetscapes. The applicant has completed a master utility, traffic, and drainage studies for the entire Newland Crossing PD that have been reviewed by staff and determined to be acceptable. The proposed final plat is consistent with the previous Town Council approved sketch and preliminary plans. Staff recommends that Town Council approve ordinance number 1.608, Newland Crossing Filing Number 3 final plat, and the Newland Crossing Filing Number 3 Subdivision Improvement Agreement based on staff recommendations. This concludes staff's report. I'm available to answer any questions you may have, and Brian Wilson, the applicant's representative, is also here to answer any questions but does not have a presentation.
Excellent. So we'll go ahead and we'll do staff questions first, and then we'll just switch over to applicant questions as well. So Councilmember Hefta, I'll kick off with you on staff questions.
Yeah, how long has this proposed plan been in the works overall? When did this project start?
Before my time with the town, and I joined the town of Parker in 2021. So I'm not sure when it originally, this particular filing was submitted in 2022.
The original plat was submitted, I believe, in 2017. Does that sound right, John? Yeah.
And so it's just coming to us now at 2024. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Sorry, no questions, thank you.
Councilmember Dyack.
Yeah, I feel like I need to ask a water question, Alex. With Josh not here, I mean, I feel the urgency not to do that. But on the northwest corner, we're going to be giving some land back to developer because they've taken care of that stormwater thing. Was that land in part given to us by Douglas County?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So it's, again, I mean, this is as Councilmember Hefta was sort of alluding to, this is a long and involved process to try to figure out how to optimize yet take care of our responsibilities in terms of roadways, not to mention storm sewer and everything else. All this stuff just takes a heck of a lot of time, and that is why we're sitting here in 2024 trying to figure out how to get this thing done. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
All right. Mr. Wilson? No, you don't have a presentation, but I hate to have you drive out all this way just to not come and stand. So we'll ask question, unless you wanted to make any comments about the project.
No,
Okay.
don't have any comments.
Okay. Councilmember Barrington, any questions for the applicant?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
I have no questions.
Councilmember Wilkes?
I wish I did, but no.
Councilmember Hefta?
How was it working with our staff?
Great. Yeah.
Good answer.
I've been working with Alex for many years and Julia since she's been with Parker, and it's been great.
Great. Excellent. And Foos is in back and Tom Williams is over there, so we'll include that in their evaluations. So thank you, sir. All right. With that, I'm going to open up for public comment at 7:41. Anyone from the public wishing to make a comment on the Newland Crossing filing number 3? Come on down, sir.
Hi, Ray Traffis, 10680 Stone Meadow Drive. I'm just north of that whole development. My only question is, where's the stormwater going to go? I mean, I see a ton of work going there, and I'm just kind of curious, is it going under the roads towards the gulch, or if you have some information on that, that would be great.
Okay. So we can have Alex, we'll eat into your 3 minutes of time, or if that's your only question.
Oh, that's my only question.
Okay. Alex, you want to talk with that?
Yeah, so the stormwater will be collected in an underground storm sewer system, inlets and pipes, routed to the sub-regional pond, which will be situated down by Newland Gulch, so on the kind of the east half of the west half of the property, if that makes sense. That's the lowest point on that side of the property, so it'll all drain through a gravity system down to that area.
All right. We'll close public comment and close the public hearing at 7:42 p.m. and we'll go to final comments from council, starting with Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, just to reiterate, this applicant has to comply with criteria in section 13.07.080 Charlie or C6 of the municipal code. And we are tasked with evaluating criteria when making a decision upon an application. So in this particular case, there are 5 criteria that the applicant has to apply with. And just to reiterate, one is consistency with the master plan. Another is consistency with the land development ordinance and other minimum standards established by the town. One is consistency with the zone district standards or plan development guide as applicable. One is previous plans, and one is public notice requirements. And in this particular case, after reviewing the application, it does appear that the applicant has complied with all of that criteria that is required when town council members are evaluating an application.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No, thank you for all the work on this.
Okay. Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the presentation and the work done, and supportive.
And Councilmember Barrington?
Yes, thank you for the many, many hours that were spent on this, I'm sure, but involved people that are much smarter than I am, so thank you.
Great. With that, council members, you have 3 items to take on, and so I'll entertain a motion on approval of the final plat.
I make a motion to approve the final plat. And it looks like there's recommended motions in here, Mayor.
Yes.
If I may.
Go for it.
Thank you. I move to approve ordinance number 1.608 on second reading.
Second.
Okay, so Madam Town Attorney, so there's 3 items. There's the final plat, there's the ordinance, and there's the subdivision agreement. Each one of those needs a vote, correct?
The ordinance needs a separate vote. The other 2 technically can be voted on together.
Okay. All right. So Councilmember Hefta just read in the motion of the ordinance, and it was seconded by Councilmember Wilkes. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. Next, we need to deal with the final plat and the subdivision agreement. You can do those as one motion or as separates.
I'll do them as separates.
Okay.
I move to approve the Newland Crossing filing number 3 final plat based on the staff recommendations.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Hefta, seconded by Barrington. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
That passes 4-0. And last is the subdivision agreement.
I move to approve the subdivision agreement, Newland Crossing, filing number 3, based on staff recommendations.
Second.
Motion is made by Hefta, seconded by Dyak. Barrington.
Yes.
Dyak.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. Next up is our ordinances. The first one is my Main Street correction of the legal description for the Pine Curve property as contained in the development and finance agreement and related bargaining and sale deed. And Mr. Maloney, welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor and Council. By way of background, the Pine Curve property was subject to a purchase and sale agreement that you approved on September 6th of 2022. A couple of months later, on November 7th, Town Council approved the development agreement, and then the next month, the Town Council approved conveyed the Pine Curve property to C.D. Parker LLC. Recently, we discovered that there was an error in the legal description, and this was with some planning documents that were submitted to the town. The actual error itself does not affect the size or the shape of the Pine Curve parcel, but it's enough to require corrective action. In order to take corrective action, the Town Council will need to approve an amendment to the development agreement and also approve the corrective deeds that have to be exchanged to correct the legal description. Just so I can point out, this development agreement also concerned the Parker Authority for Reinvestment. You'll be holding a meeting after this meeting as members of the Parker Authority for Reinvestment to address the development agreement. In order to correct the problem, we'll need a motion to approve the amendment to the development agreement, a resolution to accept the corrective deed from C.D. Parker LLC back to the town, and then an ordinance to approve the town's reconveyance of the Pine Curve property to C.D. Parker LLC. Any questions, Mayor, Council?
Great. I'll start to my right. Councilmember Barrington, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions.
Councilmember Wilkes?
So this is really just a legality cleanup to make sure that we've got everything covered.
Correct. Correct. For their investment, they want to make sure that they have the absolute best legal description, and we too want to correct it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions.
All right. With that, I'm going to open up it for public comment at 7:47. If anyone from the public wishes to make comment. Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:48. Council, any final comments on these three items? Councilmember Barrington?
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No comments.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No, I like that our legal team and our staff have caught this, and we are addressing it now before it becomes an issue at the development time. So thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
No comments.
Madam Town Attorney, you've got a good junior attorney there. We appreciate that very much. You're keeping around? All right. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion on the amendment to development and financing agreement.
So I'm going to do these as three. Is that correct, Madam
Yes,
Attorney?
ma'am.
Okay. So I move to approve the amendment to the development and financing agreement.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Dyak. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. Next up is the
I've got two more to do.
resolution.
Okay, yeah. I move to approve resolution number 24-029.
Second.
That motion was made by Wilkes, seconded by Hefta. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. And last is the ordinance 1.610.
Okay. Is it what I see in here? Okay. I move to approve ordinance number 1.612 on second reading.
The agenda says 1.610.
And my packet says 1.2, so I just want to clarify.
It's 1-0.
Okay. So I move to approve ordinance number 1.610 on second reading.
Great.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Dyak. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Yes.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. Next up is ordinance number 9.131.1 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the intergovernmental agreement, amendment number 1, by and between the town of Castle Rock, Douglas County, Elbert County, the town of Elizabeth, the town of Kiowa, the town of Parker, and the state of Colorado, acting by and through the Colorado Department of Transportation concerning State Highway 83 access, OLA number 33103251, amendment routing number 24-0 HA1-XC-00274. Always a long one with you, sir. Always.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is an intergovernmental agreement that proposes to amend the access control plan for Parker Road or State Highway 83. Some quick background, as the council is aware, Parker Road, also known as the State Highway, is controlled by the Colorado Department of Transportation. Along with that comes responsibility for access control. So the way CDOT manages access up and down the Parker Road corridor is through a published access control plan, or ACP. Basically, the ACP sets forth the location of all existing and future or anticipated access points, along with the type of access, what kind of movements are allowed there. There's a few benefits to that. Access plans do allow some flexibility. They allow CDOT to work with the local jurisdiction, local property owners, to really tailor that plan to kind of some of the local needs and priorities. They also are a benefit to roadway operation and safety. They limit the number of access points. They have a master plan for where these access points are generally going to go. The access control plan that we're addressing tonight that covers the town of Parker is actually a part of our larger one that stretches from the Douglas-Arapahoe County line all the way down to Russellville Road, south of Franktown. So all the local jurisdictions along that route that the mayor listed off were a part of this, namely Douglas County, town of Parker, and Castle Rock. We are giving some input into this, just so the council's aware. It is a collaborative process. We did get a chance to review and request any modifications along the way. So it was a good collaborative process with CDOT and the other jurisdictions. This slide is just here to kind of illustrate what the plan looks like. Essentially, it's the aerial, the most updated aerial of the corridor, overlaid with access locations. Each has a unique number. And then it's coded, and there's 13 options there at the bottom that CDOT uses with kind of the type or what the approach to the access will be long term, whether it's to remain, to be readdressed with redevelopment. There's a number of options that an access can be labeled. So regarding the currently proposed changes, the existing access control plan was approved back in 2008. So a lot has changed up and down the corridor since then, a lot of development, especially in Parker. Really, the biggest change for us is that it is going to codify and categorize all the access points and changes that have happened since that time. So we've had a lot of changes with new development. So those will all be documented in this ACP. The old sheets were getting pretty outdated, quite honestly. There are no new access restrictions proposed with this plan within Parker. The one thing to note is there were some existing recommendations for consolidation of some access points, and I'll kind of show you where that's at. That does remain. So there is some access points that really serve a single property that we want to try to consolidate over time. There is one expanded access proposed with this, and that is a conversion of the existing right-in, right-out movement at the KOA Tower property to a future three-quarters movement when that property is developed, and we'll look at that as well here. This slide shows the area where the access consolidations that'll remain, that were in the existing plan. This is south of Parkland Way, between Parkland and Plaza on the west side of Parker Road. If you can picture that area, it's where Pioneer, Sand and Gravel is. A lot of single driveways serving individual properties there. So the idea is to try to consolidate those over time as properties redevelop. The Parker Road Corridor Plan proposed several locations to try to build, larger access roads that serve multiple properties through that area. So staff will be working with CDOT and those property owners in the coming years to try to consolidate that, make that a safer area for access, right? With so many access points, a lot of cars turning in and out, it can be a little dicey at times through that stretch. And then I mentioned the expansion of the proposed access to the KOA property. The reason for this is because there is a collector road planned long-term when that property develops that will tie west into the Dransfield Extension Project, so along the south side of the commercial area down there. So with that, we wanted to be able to allow a northbound left turn into that collector road to take some of the movements that currently go left at 20 Mile Road there, peel some of those off, take some pressure off that intersection. So CDOT saw the benefit in that and agreed to allow us the expanded access there. So when that goes in, that will be what we call a three-quarter access, meaning right in, right out, and then left turn in, with the left turn out remaining prohibited. And then finally, just kind of a summary of the project. This began back in 2021, so it was quite a long process. CDOT led the effort with a consultant engineer named Stolfus. Public outreach was performed back in summer of 2022, so all property owners up and down the corridor received an invite to go to. Actually, I think it was held on Zoom, but it was some virtual public outreach. We didn't receive any significant feedback regarding access locations through our jurisdiction, so that was good. Earlier this year, all the jurisdictions reviewed the agreement, and we came to an agreement on the intergovernmental agreement that CDOT finally authored and set forth for approval. So that's what's before you tonight. Staff has reviewed all the materials. We do recommend approval of ordinance number 9.131.1, and that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to staff questions. Councilmember Barrington?
Nope, you actually just answered my questions, so thank you.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
So just one, on when you say you're going to consolidate the single access points, I mean, we all know, you've got to stop. If you're in that right lane going on Parker Road, you're stopping 100 times. Can you just briefly touch what it looks like to consolidate all of those?
Yeah, I mean, it can take a number of different forms, but the idea is to create, instead of having 10 driveways, maybe have 2 or 3 more significant access points that serve multiple properties. So whether it's having an access road along the backside of those properties that would allow, one driveway off Parker Road to serve multiple properties, that's kind of what we'd be looking for there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Councilmember Hepta?
Yeah. Just for public consumption, how do you measure that, or how do you study that to come up with which access points to utilize and which not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a collaboration with the property owners, right? Part of it is availability. It depends on which property owners are willing to work with us, which properties may redevelop or consolidate themselves. But we do want it to be a collaborative effort with the property owners as we look at that.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will go to public comment at 7:56 p.m. If anyone from the public wishes to make public comment. Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:56. And in the same order, any final comments from council? Councilmember Barrington?
When a lot of those businesses opened many years ago, there wasn't nearly as much traffic on Parker Road. So I can see where there's a huge need for this. So great job working with CDOT.
Councilmember Dyak?
No questions or comments, thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest complaints we get is the traffic, and doing anything we can to help get that traffic to move through by consolidating the in and outs and making the 3/4 lane, I'm in favor of. So thank you for the work on this.
Councilmember Hefta?
I just thank you for the collaborative effort. That this is sometimes rather complicated to get all these towns and the county and the state together to move forward on this. So I know you probably encountered a few stumbling blocks on this. So great job, Alex. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.131.1.
Oh, I'll take the easy one.
All right.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.131.1 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Wilkes. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Hi.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. All right, as if I don't chide Alex enough, Mr. Burke, who is going to give me my laundry list. So we'll start here with the book of Genesis and somehow get to Revelation tonight. So council, if y'all need to take a break, anyone needs to take a break, I've got a bunch of reading to do, so feel free. Next item up is Lincoln Avenue Jordan Road Widening Project. We'll be dealing with 6 ordinances. Ordinance number 1.611 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between Vehicle Vault LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 4 Lincoln Meadows filing number 4, First Amendment, the Lincoln Avenue Widening Project. Ordinance number 1.612 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between the Wynn LLC and the town of Parker, a portion of Lot 4B, Lincoln Meadows filing number 2, First Amendment for the Lincoln Avenue Widening Project. Ordinance number 1.613 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between Halley Properties LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 3, Lincoln Meadows filing number 3 for the Lincoln Avenue Widening Project. Ordinance number 1.614 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between Parker Meadows LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 4, Lincoln Meadows filing number 3 for the Lincoln Avenue Widening Project. Ordinance number 1.615 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between 9910 MTW LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 3, Lincoln Meadows filing number 2 for the Lincoln Avenue Widening Project. And lastly, ordinance number 1.616 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between 20 Mile Partners LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 4, 2024 Lincoln Meadows filing number 2, First Amendment for the Lincoln Avenue widening project. And Mr. Burke, your presentation better be as long as what I had to read. So. And it won't be.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. These 6 ordinances before you tonight are a continuation of the Lincoln Avenue Jordan Road widening project acquisition effort. There will be more coming in the next couple of weeks and months, but these are the 6 we have here tonight. So the vicinity map shown on your screen shows the 6 parcels being presented tonight. The 2 parcels to the west, we will be acquiring a permanent easement and a temporary construction easement. The remaining 4 parcels to the east will be a permanent easement only. The permanent easements for these properties are needed to accommodate the widened sidewalk that's being relocated for the widened roadway. So a little bit of background. In July and October of last year, Town Council approved ordinances authorizing staff to proceed with good faith negotiations with the 25 affected property owners along Lincoln Avenue and Jordan Road. Since that time, town staff and our consultant have continued to work through these negotiations by conducting site surveys and property appraisals. As of today, we have submitted offers to all property owners, and we have signed agreements from 14 property owners, as well as verbal agreements from 2 others that we're working to finalize in the coming week. Of the 14 signed agreements to date, 6 are being presented tonight. 3 were previously approved by council on April 15th. 2 more will be introduced at next council meeting, and the remaining 3 were temporary construction easements that did not require council action. The total cost of the 6 acquisitions presented tonight is $186,170, and that includes the necessary permanent easements and temporary construction easements. Funding for these acquisitions has been appropriated in the 2024 Highway and Streets Capital Projects Fund. These ordinances are required to approve the purchase and sale agreements, and the project cannot continue to construction without their approval. The next 4 slides will just show you a brief overview of each acquisition included in these ordinances. This will be starting from the west, going east towards Parker Road. Parcel 20 will be a permanent easement for a sidewalk and curb ramp. Construction there in the southeast corner of Lincoln Avenue and Lincoln Meadows Parkway. We will also have a temporary construction easement on the west side of the parcel that will be for access and just construction purposes. Parcel 23 is a permanent easement along the frontage of the property for the new sidewalk, as well as a small temporary construction easement that will just tie in to the property's existing sidewalk. Let's see, parcel 24, the next 4 actually are very similar. They're all a permanent easement along the frontage of the property, again, to accommodate that sidewalk that runs, that's being relocated to allow for the widened roadway section. And with that, staff recommends Town Council approve ordinances 1.611, 1.612, 1.613, 1.614, 1.615, and 1.616 on second reading. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's quite a bit.
Councilmember Dyack, questions?
No pressure. If we don't approve this, we can't go to construction. I mean,
That, not without a serious, well, that in its current state, that's correct.
Yeah.
You would be giving up sidewalk if that was the case.
It was more rhetorical or anything, but I appreciate the feedback. No, I think we're good. Looking forward to furthering this project so we can get going on it. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, often sometimes questions come up, like a lot of folks think, hey, that town council, they approve everything. And there's so many administrative things that happen in this town that don't come before us. Can you just briefly elaborate on why the temporary construction easement does not require town council action?
The temporary construction easement document is a temporary agreement with the property owner. It does not get recorded. It's an agreement with the property owner and the town to allow the town to access the property for construction purposes. Nothing permanent is constructed within that easement. It's just space for the contractor to be able to build the permanent improvements.
Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
All right, so I usually don't have a question, but I have one more for Tom. So when are we starting this project? You can pass
Yeah, so we're hoping to get through the rest of these acquisitions and get this project bid before the end of the year.
Okay.
With construction starting probably early next year.
So then, what are the impacts going to be to Lincoln? Are we going to have lane closures around where the construction is, going down to one lane? I'm just trying to save Tom the trouble so I can answer the emails myself.
Tom needs to walk, so I think Tom needs to come and talk.
So the goal will be to try and maintain 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. Right now, Lincoln Avenue has 2 lanes in each direction, plus the acceleration and deceleration of the turn lanes off on the side of the roadway. That's where the bulk of the construction is going to occur, is probably in those outside lanes. So we will have, our goal will be to have 2 through lanes throughout the duration of the construction project. So there will be an impact on traffic, but not as significant as you're seeing on Parker Road, where we're having to take one of the through lanes when we're doing some of those improvements.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. With that, I'm going to open up for public comment at 8:06. Anyone from the public wishing to make comments? Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:06. We'll do any final council comments in that reverse order. Councilmember Barrington?
You know, any construction project is going to cause some delay and inconvenience, but in the long run, this is just going to be such a great improvement for Lincoln.
Councilmember Dyack?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the end result will be positive for the town, for the citizens. There's a significant amount of activity, construction activity. I was talking to somebody, and I think we've had an email or two asking about why so much. I mean, to me, I think it's great because a lot of that work comes from leverage funds, which is funds outside of the town of Parker citizens contributing to these projects. We have partners. We have partners at the county. We have partners who are developers. We have partners who are the Denver Regional Council of Governments. There's a number of partners that we are going after to get money to improve our roads so our citizens can have a safer and more expedient drive. So appreciate whatever staff is doing to accelerate these projects.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, no comments. Just thank you for all your hard work on this.
Councilmember Hepta?
Yeah, I would echo Councilmember Dyack's comments. You know, many times folks you'll see on social media and other avenues do complain quite a bit about the construction projects happening in this town, but they forget that taking action to improve your roads is a good thing. Taking action to widen your lanes and gain access to the easements and reconfigure traffic is a great thing. I've gone all over this United States, and I've lived in maybe one town for a long time, and I saw pothole after pothole, no road construction, no improvement. So it's a minor inconvenience to the folks out there in Parker, Colorado. We would ask that you bear with us in this process because the final result will be improved traffic flow in the town of Parker for our citizens. So it might take you 5 minutes to get to your favorite coffee place or consult with your favorite realtor or financier or lawyer, but the outcome is you're going to enjoy the road better and you're going to get there quicker in the long run for all our residents. So thank you for your patience, Parker residents.
So with that, I will start entertaining the motions on ordinance number 1.611.
All right. I move to approve ordinance number 1.611 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyack, seconded by Wilkes. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyack?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0.
right,
Next up is 1.612 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.612 on second reading.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Dyack, seconded by Barrington. Barrington?
Yes.
Yes.
Dyack? Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. Next up is 1.613.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.613 on second reading.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Dyak, seconded by Barrington. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
Next up, 1.614 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.614 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyak, seconded by Hefta. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. Next up is 1.615 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.615 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyak, seconded by Hefta. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. And last up, 1.616 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.616 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyak, seconded by Wilkes. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. A clean sweep by the Mayor Pro Tem. Good job. All right. Next up is ordinance number 9.371 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance approving the intergovernmental agreement between the Town of Parker and the Board of County Commissioners of Douglas County regarding cost sharing for the construction of the traffic signal at the intersection of Hess Road and Tammy Lane. Mr. Hudson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As the Mayor stated, we have an IGA before you tonight for a partial funding for a traffic signal at Hess Road and Tammy Lane. We've been tracking this intersection for several years, and until recently, it did not meet minimum requirements for a traffic signal to be installed. Late last year, the warrant study came back as meeting warrants, and this is due to annually increasing traffic on Hess Road. And you're asking yourself, what is the traffic on Hess Road? 35,000 cars a day. This was, as a rule, a few years ago, that was the traffic on Parker Road south of Stroh Road. So 35,000 cars a day is where it is. This is before the Motzenbacher Transfeld work started. We routinely seek funds from adjacent development. The Douglas County owns a maintenance facility at the northeast corner. And last year, we reached out to them, and they budgeted $200,000 for their contribution. Vicinity map, this is a map showing where it is on Hess Road between Jordan and Motzenbacher. And that's adjacent to the southeast corner of our maintenance facility, and the Douglas County facility is at the northeast corner of the intersection. This graphic actually starts to show some of the parcel layouts. There's actually a road that's platted coming up from the south. Construction started on the bridge over Oak Gulch. If you've driven by, that's being built by development. So in the next year, you're going to see a road come up from the south at this intersection. The warrant study was done based on existing traffic, not the traffic that's coming. Total construction costs, we estimate construction to be about $800,000. Douglas County is about 25% of that. Design and construction being handled by the town. We're in the middle of final design review at this point. We anticipate to bid this thing out before the end of the year. Lead time on signal poles is well over 4 months at this point. And we have a very conservative timeline to make sure we get this thing done, but we expect it to be operational sometime next year. And with that, I'll answer any of the questions you have, but staff recommends approval of the IGA. We have to have an ordinance to approve the IGA. And this will add any questions you might have, I'll happily answer them for you.
All right. Thanks, sir. Councilmember Hefta, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, can you just address would you put that traffic signal there that kind of slows down the traffic coming off of Hess, rolling down from Hilltop? You've got a couple lights to go through, and it might slow down the speed of folks.
Yeah, we don't time signals to stop traffic.
Yeah.
We try to maximize the travel flow because it's a waste of fuel for everyone involved, and we can go on, but we don't time signals to stop traffic. But will there be delays? Yes. Whenever you add a signal, there will be delays to somebody in the system.
Right. And I asked that question because I believe that's where an individual was killed a couple of years ago off Hess Road.
Not at this location that I'm aware of. There was one to the west.
Okay.
West of Chambers, there was an individual that was killed, but not at this intersection.
In the bike lane, was it? It was in the bike lane, I think,
believe
on
that's
Easter Day.
Correct. It was west of Chambers somewhere is what I believe.
Yeah.
So-
But that, this traffic signal may overall improve the safety because now you're going to have to slow down for the traffic signal. And some of those bikers coming off biking in that lane, it's going to cause you to be more aware of the traffic on that road. Is that generally the way it works?
Generally, all drivers should be aware of bikes. To say a signal might make you more aware, it maybe marginally, but we have a lot of traffic signals in town, and it was a terrible thing that happened on Hess. We build traffic signals when they meet minimum requirements, and one of the big things is safety for pedestrians, for bikes, and cars.
Right.
So.
And right behind that, the Tammy Lane, I think a lot of folks don't realize that there's a whole housing community right back there. And it's really not apparent from the road, but when you drive back there on Tammy Lane, there are many, many older homes in Parker, maybe the first established homes in Parker right there in that area.
Correct. Cherry Creek Highlands is north. It's a large lot development. Let's also keep in mind what's coming to the south. We got a lot of homes going in, and there's also going to be a middle school and high school site on the south side of Hess Road that are going to be coming. And we all know how traffic is around schools in Parker. So this is a location that is going to be even more demand because of the high school and middle school site that will come in.
Thank you.
Willis?
We got questions? Is that where we're at?
Questions,
Okay,
yep.
I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, Chris, what's the timeline on ordering traffic signals, steel and everything? It was how far out is that? It's getting better, I guess.
At one point, just a few years ago, it was 6 months.
Yeah.
The last one was, I heard, was about 16 to 18 weeks.
Okay.
On the last time we ordered. So it's improving, but the interesting thing, John, things that weren't a problem a year ago are a problem this year, and so it's constantly changing. Last year it was polymer concrete was impossible to get. And this year it's actually poles for pedestrians to push the buttons on.
Wow.
I don't understand the supply chain issues, but there's always a challenge, John.
And it's related, but when we replace traffic signals like on Main Street and 20 Mile, we're putting in more of a beefier. It feels like a beefier metal.
Yeah, the poles have dramatically increased in strength based on some fatigue that the state has seen, and so the designs have changed. AASHTO, American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, came out with a whole new design criteria for signal poles due to fatigue, and they are beefier than they've ever been, John. And
we can't reuse the old ones anywhere because of the new design standards, correct?
We can reuse them up to the design life of the poles, but they do have a fixed design life, John.
Yeah. No, I just remember. I thought traffic signals were greater than 6 months. I thought they were kind of pushing a year to 18 months back, from what I recall. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, if you bid it and make it part of the construction contract to supply those poles, you're looking at a good 9 months to a year to get that signal built.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
So it's $800,000 to put up a traffic light.
That's our most recent estimates. And what we've recently encountered with the signals we are building right now.
It's pretty expensive, but needed.
When I started with the town in 1999, the number was 160,000.
That was going to be one of my questions.
So in 25 years, roughly, it's gone up a lot. Wish my paycheck had gone up as much as that, but anyway. It's a lot of money, and these construction costs, time is money. We need to get this thing out for bid to get it constructed because They just keep going up. In 2 years, we saw about a 25% cost increase with traffic signal construction due to inflation.
Thanks.
All right, with that, we'll open it for public comment at 8:20. If anyone from the public wishes to make a comment on this ordinance. Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:20 and bring it back to council. Councilmember Barrington, any final comments?
I guess just going back to the cost to put one of these up, that's why you just can't, with everything that goes into it, I mean, people are constantly saying, hey, can you get a light here or a light there? And it's not so simple. So the minimum requirements, supply chain is interesting. Do you know there's a whole major for supply chain now? I never knew that. But yeah, so very, very expensive, but thank you for all your work on this.
Yep, Councilmember Dyak.
No questions, supportive. Things continue to go up. I remember when it was, I think a traffic signal was like 200 grand back in 2012. It's a little bit more than that now, so supportive.
Okay, Councilmember Wilkes.
Yeah, with all the construction that's going on Matzenbacher, a lot of us parents at American Academy, and not me, but a lot of us parents at American Academy have been using Tammy Lane as a cut through so that they don't have to go all the way to Jordan, which actually just creates even more of a traffic issue on Hess because there isn't a signal there and you have to wait and you get people that are like, I can make it, and then they are literally stopping traffic on the street. So I think to your point, you know, with a middle school and an elementary or high school.
A high school site.
Okay, so with those coming, I think it's going to be vital to get it done, and knowing that it's 16 to 18 weeks to get a traffic signal in and get people used to it, I'm in favor of getting this done quickly, so thank you.
Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, absolutely. This is a well-traveled road, and I appreciate the proactivity of the Public Works and Engineering Department looking to the future on this and taking care of the town for the future growth in this area. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 9.371.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.371 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, by Hefta, seconded by Wilkes. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. Ordinance number 1.609 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between Walker Farms LLC and the town of Parker concerning Matzenbacher Road.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we'll be talking a little bit more about Matzenbacher Road. This is we had one at the last meeting. We have another one coming up at the next meeting to talk about this. In June of last year, you approved an intent to acquire. We needed right-of-way and/or easements from 5 properties out there. This is regarding the Walker Farms property. And the Walker Farms property consists of 2 properties along Matzenbacher Road, one directly southeast of the Matzenbacher-Todd intersection, and another one directly east of the Piesco substation. So there you can see them in the vicinity map. Total ownership of the Walker Farms property is just under 15 acres on all the parcels that they own. This is it zoomed in, what we're acquiring out there. Basically a strip of right-of-way, and we'll talk a little bit more about the little hatchet end at the on the northern property there, the one adjacent to the Piesco substation. So it's again a total of 0.167 acres, over 7,000 square feet needed of right-of-way. And on the north and on the south is just over 4,000 square foot. Total for this is 68,000. The one on the north, if you go back and reference the intent to acquire, was part of the negotiations with the landowner. We were going to get a drainage easement from that landowner. The landowner wanted us to buy it in fee, so that was part of the negotiations. So that's why the change in the shape in that area there. So that was part of the negotiations, it was good faith negotiations with the landowner. And with that, staff recommends town council approve this ordinance 1.609 on second reading. I can answer any questions you might have.
Council questions, Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Dyak?
No questions, thanks.
Councilmember Wilkes?
No questions.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions.
That will open it up for public comment at 8:25. If anyone from the public wishes to make comment on ordinance number 1.609, Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:25 and bring it back to council in that reverse order. Councilmember Hefta,
Nope, appreciate all the work you're doing.
Councilmember Wilks,
Yeah, like I just talked about, Motzenbacher, the whole expansion, everything has to work and flow together, and we have to do it in these parts that make sense, so I'm in favor.
Councilmember Dyak,
No comments.
and Councilmember Barrington.
No comment, thanks.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 1.609 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.609 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilks, seconded by Hefta. Barrington,
Yes.
Dyak,
Yes.
Wilks,
Aye.
Hefta,
Yes.
and that passes 4-0. Next up are our contracts over $500,000. The Parks Piesco Trail Construction Contract. Mr. Collins, and while you're making your way, congratulations on an exceptional O'Brien Park makeover. Really, really well done by you and your team.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it turned out very well. I saw a lot of people using it already too, so it's been good.
Yep, it's going to be great.
So, got that first slide up there, okay. So tonight, I'm here to request a construction contract for the Parker Piesco Trail. The trail project is part of the Pawnee Daniels transmission line mitigation. If you remember, there were several projects for that mitigation along the Piesco Trail from basically Canterbury Parkway down to Omaha Avenue, and then there's another section from Siebert Circle over to Latigo Lane. And what this was we received some funds in 2020 to build this trail from Public Service. It's an 8-foot wide, 1.5 mile crusher fine trail that runs along that red line that you're looking at on the screen right now. The project was put on hold in 2020 due to the pandemic, so we're getting back to getting these projects that have kind of been in the background here and trying to get them cleaned up and move forward with some of the other projects. So in August of 2022, there was an open house meeting. We advertised that through Nextdoor and sent direct mailer emails to the HOAs along the corridor, and we didn't really have a lot of input, so there wasn't really any concerns brought up about the trail. And since then, I've been working on the construction drawings and license agreement with Public Service Company, moving that forward. And that's taken a little longer than I anticipated for the public service license agreement, but we did get there. So the project was publicly bid on May 17th of this year. Received 9 bids, which was really good to see that we're getting some decent bids, at least interest in the bids. And they range from $721,559.75 to $1,219,145. So a big spread there on the bids. But we did get a bid that was from Powell Restoration that was conforming to what we needed to have them do in the bids. The project was bid with 3 ad alternates. And the recommendation is to award the base bid of $559,709.75 with 2 of the ad alternates, one being crusher fine stabilization and the other being prairie dog relocation. There's some prairie dogs on the site next to Canterbury on that east side that will be relocated down to Pueblo. So the recommendation is to award that base bid of $559,707.75, and then the 2 ad alternates are $134,600 for a total bid of $694,309.75. I go the wrong way. And that would include 12% construction project contingency of $83,317 for any unforeseen costs, and then a total project cost of $777,626.75. We do have funds available in the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Fund for this, and the anticipated construction is mid-June through April of 2025. So we gave kind of a long time frame, so I think that's one of the reasons that we got so many bids, because we didn't require them to get it done in 4 or 5 months. It gave them a long span, so we had good interest. So if you have any questions on that, I'll take them now.
Okay. Councilmember Barrington, you want to kick us off? Any questions?
So with the variance, with all of these bids, I was wondering if they were all bidding on the same project. Obviously, they were. You checked that out. But this company, have we ever contracted with them before?
So they've done some smaller work in the town in the past as a subcontractor to some larger contractors that we've used. And then I just checked some references. They're more of a restoration company, and they are kind of just breaking into doing trail work. They've done a bunch of smaller trail projects for Denver and some of the municipalities and special districts, but nothing this large. So I did check references, and of course they all came back good. But there wasn't any glaring reason not to accept their bid. I think they'll be a good company and to work with, and just talking with their project manager. Went ahead and we are recommending going with Powell Restoration.
I like their price.
Yeah, it's a good price.
Councilor Dyak?
No questions, thank you.
Councilor Wilkes?
So are we out of this paying for the prairie dog relocation, or is I know there's a local group that does the prairie dog relocation. Are they just doing that?
It's part of the contract price. So yes, it's getting paid for, well, out of the funding we received from public service.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Hefta?
No questions.
All right, with that, we'll open it for public comment at 8:31. Anyone wishing to make a comment on Parker Piesco Trail contracts? Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:31 and bring it back in that reverse order. Councilmember Hefta?
I appreciate the HOA notification and the public open house on that. And as we all know, the town notifies the HOAs, and the HOAs have a duty to put out all that information to their individual residents. So the town's not responsible for putting out that information to the residents. The HOA has been notified by the town, and that's wonderful that you've conducted that public open house so residents are aware. And also thank you for the information on the prairie dog relocation. All too often, folks from around the community, when it's our duty and our job as the town of Parker to engage in negotiations for prairie dog relocation, when it's actually falls under our job, we do that. And so I think tonight is a wonderful example of this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Wilkes?
I mean, we all love having more trails in our community and having more walkability and the open space. So adding this connective trail and making it usable, I don't know if that's a word, functionable, we're going to go with that. I'm excited about, so thank you guys.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, I think the amenity, especially on the west side, kind of helps us out, creating more recreational opportunities or multimodal opportunities to those on the west side of Parker Road with Harvey. Open space and this, hopefully that there will be some additional flows into our open space and trails.
And Councilmember Barrington?
I think this is great. That it's happening. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on the approval of this contract.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Barrington, seconded by Hefta. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 4-0. Madam Town Attorney, when you have a moment, can you review the wildlife ordinance that we had? Council members Wilkes and Hefta bring up good points on that, but I believe the intent of the ordinance is that we give time to the wildlife advocates to relocate, but not that either the applicant or the developer, or in this case, the town of Parker, is responsible for doing that. I believe that the 30-day cooling off period is to allow them the chance to get on the property and do that.
And I will review it.
Okay.
I know that there's procedures in place to allow for the relocation if developers are looking at other alternatives or to find spaces to properly rehouse them somewhere
Yep.
else.
But this has been coming up a lot with the developments, and just if we can get it
Absolutely.
Consolidated, because if they're not willing to do it, I don't want to be the ones. And Brett, thanks for making sure they get to Pueblo. That's good. Maybe they can take RTD down there, and they'll be the ones writing it. So, anyways, thank you all both on that. Last up, resolution number 24-034, a resolution to approve the signal light pad and trail dedication agreement by and between Sinseek LLC and the town of Parker. Mr. Hudson, you're back.
I'm glad you did a better job of saying the property name than I probably would have.
I
but,
try.
Anyway, tonight you have a resolution to talk about the Parker Road and Parkland area. So for the past several decades, we've been contemplating a construction of a traffic signal at the Parker Road and Parkland intersection. For reference, we'll have a vicinity map in a minute. Parkland is just south of Lincoln Avenue. Design and coordination with CDOT began in 2022. CDOT's involved because ultimately this signal will become part of their infrastructure and they'll own and maintain it. A design effort determined there was a need for a small property acquisition at the northeast corner of the intersection, totaling just under 300 square feet. The property owner, Sisanique, outreach was finally successful after months of unsuccessful outreach, and basically a year ago about this time. We discussed a planned traffic signal there, and ultimately a longer-term plan to build a sidewalk trail along Parker Road. Property owner was very supportive of a traffic signal project, but requested some consideration as we walk through the details. So there's an existing sidewalk trail gap on the east side of Parker Road, south of Lincoln Avenue. This was built by the Keystone developer several years ago. We've gotten complaints for years about this gap in the sidewalk, the trail to nowhere. And in 2019, because of those complaints, we completed a conceptual design. Most of the sidewalk stays in CDOT's right-of-way and sidewalk trail, but there's a need to basically jog the trail away to cross the drainage swale in this area. And the conceptual design effort identified a small easement area of about a little over 500 square feet at the northwest corner of the property that we're talking about today. The property was concerned about the cost of this future sidewalk trail, and they were also concerned about the liability of granting an easement for the sidewalk trail. And they were supportive of dedication of right-of-way for it, but they didn't want to have to pay for it, the sidewalk or trail in the future. So dedications we started a multi-month negotiation with the property owner. Dedications to southwest and northwest corners of the property would occur via quitclaim deed with partial leads of deeds of trust. They have loan on the property. The property owner would like to clean up the property when it's done. This is basically, we agreed to do an exemption plat that will be coming to you as an upcoming town council item if you approve this agreement tonight. Basically, the town will engage a surveyor to complete the plat, the exemption plat, and the property owner has already made the application to the Community Development Department. There was also concern about a large evergreen tree. It's outside the area of which we're going to be impacting with the construction, but the property owner was very concerned about this large evergreen tree, and we've agreed to remove the tree if it dies within 1 year because of the construction. We've had the tree looked at. It's a healthy Colorado blue spruce tree. This is a vicinity map kind of trying to show where all the different pieces coming in. So you can see the sidewalk trail coming down. I call it Tokyo Joe's, but it comes down dead ends. There's this unnamed drainage tributary ditch that comes down there. I'm thinking names like Dyack's Ditch or Rivero's Ravine would be great names. Rivero's not here, so you can name it tonight. But the sidewalk will have to come down because of all the utilities that are along Parker Road. We can't build the structure that's going to need to cross this. We've actually just, we'll be kicking off the design of this sidewalk now if this agreement comes together in the near future. Sidewalk comes down, clips the very northwest corner of the property, back where a detention pond is today. The development's not losing any developable space. It's a drainage easement today where it's at. That will be dedicated via fee to us. The sidewalk stays in the right-of-way, comes down, and at that very northwest corner there to build a traffic signal, and ultimately the sidewalk as well, we needed to acquire this right-of-way and that corner there. So Basically, to summarize the agreement details, we agreed not to seek reimbursement for the traffic signal or the future sidewalk trail construction. They'll dedicate to us the 2 parcels totaling 830 square feet. We'll engage the title company to complete the transaction due to the existing loans on the property, the deeds of trust. We'll engage a surveyor to complete the exemption plat for the property. The property owner will apply. And the existing evergreen tree will be removed by the town if it dies due to the construction. And this is a culmination of a lot of negotiations, in staff's opinion, this is a win-win. The area gets a traffic signal that was at one point promised to landowners back in the 1980s. It's been a long road. I've touched this intersection multiple times in the past 20 years. It has not met minimum federal requirements for installing of a traffic signal. That happened in '22 as traffic rebounded after the pandemic. And CDOT is supportive of us building this signal now for the first time. And we plan to put this out for bid and get this thing under construction yet this year. And with that, I'll answer any questions you might have, but this is a unique situation. It's a resolution to accept this because this is a culmination of a deal. Most time resolutions are on consent agenda. Well, this is on the regular agenda because there's lots of moving parts with it. With that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, I remember my first review of the budget. I think we had a fund specifically for this traffic signal. I forget what the source of the annual contributions were. Do you remember, Chris?
So years ago, it was under $200,000.
Yeah.
With CDOT requirements for this signal, which they have some unique requirements, it's going to be over $800,000 to construct.
Yeah.
That money came from a limited improvement district that was established for the Park Glen. The town got in the land development business back in the day on Park Glen, and we taxed the landowners along Park Glen for this traffic signal. And it's been in an account, John.
Yep.
Since for the 25 years I've almost been here.
Yeah, and people now more frequently people have been asking, but it always used to come up every 2 or 3 years. Hey, what about that? There's always been thoughts that maybe the closeness to Lincoln and Parker was the issue why we didn't get that, but really it just didn't meet warrants, and you got to go through the CDOT process.
You have to go through the CDOT process, and just like us, you have to meet minimum requirements. You can't just build a signal because I want to build a traffic signal.
Yep.
It has to meet minimum requirements.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Councilmember Wilkes?
So on the tree, I get that the concern is that if it dies from construction, who's going to remove it? I guess my question is, do you have reason to believe that it would? I mean, you said the arborist says it's in good health right now. I mean,
So the arborist looked at it, and I talked to the arborist, and we'll be doing directional drilling for the traffic signal beside it. And he's like, Chris, this tree will be fine. We documented it. We had it inspected. I don't expect to be any issues with it from the construction.
with the directional drilling, I'm assuming that's going down further down than where the root system is for the tree.
And it's very limited amount. We're not ripping through the roots like with an open trench. We'll be just drilling kind of below the majority of the roots. I can't tell you it's not going to hit some of the roots, but it's a very surgical type of construction that I would use like an open heart surgery analogy, but that's probably not a good one.
My stepdad's a directional driller, so I understand completely.
Yeah.
So, but thank you, I appreciate it.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
All right, we'll open up for public comment at 8:44. If anyone from the public would like to make a comment on Resolution 24-034. Seeing none, we'll close it at 8:44. And final comments from the council. Councilmember Barrington?
2 decades is a long time. Great job.
3 or 4.
Councilmember Dyak?
No, I mean, again, this is something that people have been sort of asking about, and I know one person in my neighborhood in particular who will probably be very happy we're addressing this tonight.
Councilmember Wilks.
No, I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta.
Yeah, our Public Works and Engineering staff, and thank you for mentioning, Chris, that you were around when this project first began.
It was before my time.
It was before your
so
time.
There was a former Public Works Director here that gave me some background on it. His name was Frank Yeager, if you can believe that.
He was Public Works Director here?
He was Public Works Director at Parker at one point in the 1980s.
Well, it just further reinforces to me that the public staff, in particular Public Works and Engineering Department, has excellent retention of employees and works pretty hard to keep those employees with the town of Parker. So thank you very much, Tom Williams, for doing that, because the practical knowledge of the facts as you engage in some of these resolutions and applications and projects is really important, that you have a working history of the facts. And so thank you very much, Tom.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion on Resolution 24-034.
I move to approve Resolution number 24-034 as a part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Dyak, seconded by Wilks. Barrington?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilks?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
That passes 4-0. With nothing more for the Parker Town Council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.